Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
meep meep.
What's going on?
Not much. Got to trade glasses so I can see.
Uh, Barry's in here too. You may not see him.
I have Barry and Art's block up there, but you and I are the only ones on video at this time.
Yeah, Art's in there somewhere.
We're special.
Yeah, we know. So, anything new, Mr. Barry?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to break my MB server by installing a GPU driver. Um, Probably shouldn't do that unless I had it all backed up, but I don't. So I'm being dumb.
Well,
If I can't break it and lose everything.
I feel your pain because I've been upgrading to Linux Mint 22 on almost everything and
Yeah,
have ran into tons of problems on at least
teach you
do what?
to teach you to upgrade.
Yes. The biggest problem is they're not all the same problems. I run into like weird weird problems on every machine. So I'm trying to figure out if I upgrade this machine because it actually seems like it's working and it doesn't look like I did. So that's probably good. That's probably why it's working.
Well, I get everything working, and then people want me to upgrade the operating system, upgrade the programs, and I'm resistant to do that. I have stuff that's working. I'm familiar with. I know how it works. I don't want to learn a new program. I don't want to lose the programs I have because it's a new operating system.
Don't want to spend 4 hours upgrading your system only to spend another day just getting it to work again.
Well, and my programs are not supported by the current operating systems, and
Yes,
I don't want to buy another whole suite of Microsoft products.
I understand. Yes. I yeah, I understand. Of
And
course,
I continue to do some consulting work, and the current crop of people I'm working with don't understand. I can open a DOC document in Word, but I cannot open or edit a DOCX document in Word.
mm,
Please send it to me in a DOC format. And so they send me a PDF file. I can't edit that.
Well, you can if they build it to be,
No, this is a
which
flat
nobody knows how
file
to
that I
do.
can look at. I cannot go through and edit or highlight or do any of the things that I normally do, along with a long legal document.
I I got my dad to start using LibreOffice because people kept sending him files that he couldn't open. So maybe you should try LibreOffice to open some of those formats that you can open.
Well,
No.
I could try that, I suppose, but I've got 35 years of documents on my machine. I hate to start changing things away around.
What sort of documents are you getting that you can't open?
The docx.
The DOCX.
What are you using to try to open them?
Well, program I have is Word, but I do not have the current version of Word because I do not like the current version of Word. I had Word 365 and I despised it.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear any dissents there.
I'm sorry, Art, I could barely hear you.
I put my microphone down. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say you didn't hear any dissents from the crowd there. LibreOffice I've used very successfully for many, many years. And before LibreOffice, what was it? Linux had some other
Open office. Open office.
Open Office, yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
This is back in the days when Sun was still alive, I think. At any rate, so
Yeah.
I've had pretty good luck with LibreOffice, I must say.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can't do with it is that can't do access with LibreOffice, but unless you've got a client that does a lot of access. Now, I have one client that everything is an access database, so you know.
I don't think you can do access with the current Word.
Where I keep track of the individuals and the cases and the time and the activity is in an access database, and all of the reports for billing and stuff are things that I wrote for access 25 years ago. And yes, I could probably transfer all of that to a new system, but why would I need to? Why should I have to?
Because you're getting documents that you can't open now.
Well, the access
and you will get more next month and more the month after.
Well, I did a screen capture and said, see that where it says save as, please send me documents where you have saved as. And it's like, oh, I didn't know we could do that. It's just me.
It's not just you, Dad. Dad was the same way. He was writing articles there for the paper for a while, and they would send him stuff that he couldn't open with he was using WordPerfect. I mean, that's
nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's a nice program, but I haven't used that for
there was absolutely nothing that they sent him that he could open. So I got him on the LibreOffice, and he was able to open 98% of what they sent him. So which was far better than, why can't I open this file? Why can't I open this file? And one of the publishers was actually using LibreOffice and was sending him open doc, open whatever that is. Yeah. And that's when I realized, oh, yeah, you're not going to be able to open those with anything you've got. So it's probably not a bad idea just to have it installed, and then you can use it or not use it. But if you get like a weird document that you can't open, you could at least try it with that and see if it opens it.
So in favor of LibreOffice, it does a lot of amazing things, and it's relatively easy to import your databases and save them into something else. MariaDB comes to mind. It's huge. This is, hold on. This is my LibreOffice buried inside of Nextcloud. Oops.
Steve, can you put the
F11.
microphone over in front of your mouth a little bit more? It's kind of murky.
Sorry, is that any better?
A little.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
this is LibreOffice in a web page running on a server I've got. It reads docx. It reads WordPerfect. It reads practically anything. It can be scripted. I can write a script to go through a folder of documents and convert them all to ODF. And everybody can now open ODF. I can import things from a database into a file, whether it's a document or a spreadsheet, it really doesn't matter. This is something I made at work. It's just a docx recipe.
Yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. Is that what we're having for dinner?
It'd be nice. I'm very, very happy. And it doesn't take much to maintain it. Oh, and I can directly export things as PDF or as docx or doc or ODF or pretty much anything I want.
Yep.
And from here, just share files. It's pretty nice and surprisingly easy to set up.
Okay. Now, when you go back to the main menu on that, do you have the ability of saving it in a different format other than docx?
Yep.
Yeah. You can save it in what? There's 50 different formats.
I was going
or
to say a
something.
large number of different.
Actually, here there's not.
Okay.
But in freestanding LibreOffice, yeah, there's a ton. I can also export. Let's see, what's the list there? Come on. Yeah, just EPUB or PDF.
Thank you for showing me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy LibreOffice. It's pretty nice.
And it's free.
And it's free. You could even save it in Word documents clear back to 2003.
Well, that's appropriate because that's where I'm based.
Oh, no, they've got
docx.
97 in here too. There's a ton of different formats that you can save your documents as. So I don't know. Dad hasn't complained lately, but I know one of the previous versions of or LibreOffice did have a little bit of a problem formatting the docx. It changed the format a bit. But he hasn't said anything about that lately, so maybe they fix that.
Well, I have several machines running different operating systems, and the version of Microsoft Office will not run under one of those operating systems.
Yeah.
So I have a virtual machine on that computer, but it stores things in a location I can't get to So if I want to transfer documents between a virtual machine and the real machine, I end up having to email them to myself, which is just
Might I mention Nextcloud again? I have folders shared in Nextcloud that are connected to my phone, to machines at work, to the wife's phone and her machine. I can open up a web page, log in, and drag a file off of the desktop of the machine I logged in on, drop it right into Nextcloud, and it shows up in everything else that's connected within seconds.
Now, OneDrive on mine is not. They have just changed that within the last couple of weeks. The version of Explorer that I had been using will not talk to OneDrive. So I have to go in under Foxfire to get to OneDrive because they don't like the current version of Explorer. And I cannot go to a different operating system and take care of that because they don't support the current version.
They do support the current version. There is no current version of Explorer. Internet Explorer is dead and buried and gone, and we're glad of that.
Yeah.
Have you got an XP machine? What are you doing?
I have Windows set. The machine I'm talking to you on now is a Windows 7 machine, and it supports the version of Microsoft Office and also all of my communications with OneDrive. If I go to my other machine, which is Windows 10, Microsoft Office is not operable on that. It is. I am just reluctant to continue to update stuff and learn more new stuff for the very few times that I need to use it. It's easier for me to work around with archaic patches than it is to learn a new fifth version of Microsoft Office. Many of the Word documents that I have written contain logical if statements that go back to access. It's kind of like a mail merge feature, except that it is a logical statement. So I can put in data in an access database and it will complete the Word document that I have based on the logical if statements. Rough example, if I'm writing a document that contains the signs, symptoms, and levels regarding carbon monoxide or hydrogen sulfide or a lack of oxygen or any other number of things. If I have an access database that says, yes, I need that, yes, I need that, yes, I need that component, then Word will simply put those and express them if I've said yes. If I've said no, it presents a blank in that spot. So I can generate a 90-page confined space entry document by answering 25 or 30 questions in the Access database, and I do not have to edit the original Word document. That Word document is kind of universal over whatever space, whatever contaminants I'm working with. Now, if I have to abandon all of that and rewrite it, I'm not gaining anything.
Well, you are. Future compatibility. I'm fairly certain that Access is no longer supported. No, that's not. They haven't announced an EOL on it, but Windows 7 was end of life January 17th of 2020.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware that I'm living on borrowed time, and individual life functions on the machine are slowly dying.
So, Steve, how do I install Nextcloud?
Um, the the way I would do it,
I'm sorry?
the way I do it is I'm running a VM running Neth server. Neth server is basically Windows small office, or what was it called? Windows Server Small Business or something like that. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
it's got
Yeah.
a database built in, it's got an AD server built in, it's got email built in, it's got Nextcloud, it's got a huge number of things that you just go, I want that one and that one and that one, and it enables them. It is surprisingly easy to set up.
So you run Nest server in a virtual,
Yes.
okay.
There's
But I mean, it runs very gracefully on surprisingly modest hardware.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's an image of Nextcloud for Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
I don't think that's an official release. I think that's somebody made it,
Right.
but it worked. It works fine. Um, there's a Docker image for Nextcloud. I don't know how that one works. I've not tried that one. There's a half a dozen different ways to get Nextcloud up and running. And I don't think any of them are overly complicated.
But that just gives you Nextcloud.
Yeah.
Neth server, it's very easy to just go, I want the built-in code server, which is what gives you the ability to edit documents in Nextcloud without downloading them, editing them, and pushing them back.
The
Yeah.
the one for Raspberry Pi, I believe he gives when you start the install process, I believe it gives you options to select what you want.
Mhm.
And even after you've got it installed, you can still go to the Nextcloud uh whatever the Nextcloud store or whatever that is
Yeah.
and install more stuff. It's surprisingly easy to run Nextcloud.
Let me show this again. So, yep, go away, meeting chat. So this is my Nextcloud. Um, I want it to do something that it currently doesn't. These are some of, I mean, I can have games running in it. I don't really want to. Monitoring to tell what files have changed when and keep a log of that so that it continues to work in the future. Calendar, apparently there's an update for it. And one for Nextcloud Office. This is probably going to break my office, but oh well. Does analytics where it can go through piles of data and give you information about it. What is this? I don't know what BPM files are, but CAD viewers for viewing AutoCAD. Set up stuff for organizations to convert media. This is just Nextcloud. This isn't NethServer yet. Um, don't have my certificates set up for IP addresses. What? Why isn't that just auto-filling? So this is NethServer. Comes up, gives me a nice dashboard. It's been running for 29 days. I'm running 7.9, which is old. They currently have NethServer 8 out, which is sweet. I'm running this on an AMD Threadripper that is 12 core or 24 threads, and it thinks that it's using 8 of those 24 threads. I've got other VMs running on the same thing. I set up users and groups. These are all the kids. Define the network. I have an internal network and an external, and it's bridged between the two. My DNS is handled in here. This is stuff that is normally done on a router. If you give it 2 network cards, you can have one connected to your Ethernet, your internal LAN, and one connected to, say, Cincinnati Bell, and it acts as your router, so it keeps all of the DNS stuff up to date and working correctly. It can be a DHCP server. I don't have it doing that because I don't have the second network card in. I've got these services running on it, whether they're available inside or outside. If they're on green, it's internal. If it's red, it's external. And this one's actually wrong because you can't get to this externally. But MySQL is running, but only on localhost. I've got OpenVPN running. Does backups nightly. I've got 2 drives configured plus backup, which isn't mounted at the moment. It mounts it, does a backup, and unmounts it. And it gives information on what's going on with storage there. This one's kind of neat. I can see what's using up the most storage. And var lib NethServer, Nextcloud, and that's this D7 CD, that's my portion of Nextcloud. It generates certificates with Let's Encrypt automatically, handles them very nicely. If you go to any of my websites externally, I have valid good certificates. Just, it is surprisingly nice. I'm running ClamAV for antivirus. So if I upload some Windows file that has a virus in it, it flags it and deletes it. I'm running postfix for email, fail to ban. So if somebody tries to hit my machine too quickly, it just blocks their IP address. They think that they've done a DDoS on me. I share files across my network directly as Samba or CIFS shares. So a couple of Windows machines in the house can connect to them. They're also shared as NFS, and I use those NFS shares as home directories for the Linux boxes. HotSync will take things that are shared in NethServer and write them to another Neth server instance, which is running at my mom's house. Actually, that's for the entire machine, not just Nextcloud, but it's at Nextcloud as well. VPN, web server, and webmail. The webmail is surprisingly responsive. It by default blocks remote images. I can allow it. Now they know that I've looked at their email. I have no idea why I'm getting crap from Saks Fifth Avenue, but there we go. I do have a subscription for 92.5 The Fox. They know I look at their stuff occasionally. Apparently, Slash is going to be in Nashville, whatever. It does lots and lots of folders gracefully. It does filters very gracefully. Stuff coming to lcs@silly.org from me was automatically dumped into the LCS folder. PayPal stuff is automatically dumped into the PayPal folder. I have effectively an infinite number of email addresses. My email server accepts mail for absolutely any address. If it matches one of the users, it puts the mail in their folder. If they have filters set up, it automatically deals with it. If I don't have a user, it goes in my mailbox, and then it can be filtered by my filters. It's just surprisingly comfortable and easy to use. It really is. And if you want any help setting one up, let me know. I run this on a little Dell 7040 MFF in the past for a long time. This is a 7-inch by 7-inch by 2-inch computer. And it was actually quicker than this VM. The VM gives me a lot of options, though. Any questions?
I am rather humbled. I want to say, I can turn the computer on. I know how cap locks work.
You can run this. Seriously, you can run this. This is surprisingly easy.
Okay.
When you coming over to build my network, sir?
I'll gladly help you.
Now, this is not exactly the same, but it's parallel. I have a friend who is a certified welder, and I had him help me do some welding. He set his machine up, and I welded a couple of pieces together, brought them home to my wife, and said, "Look at these welds." And she said, "Oh, very nice. Do you need a better welder?"
Yes.
I said, "Well, if I had John's $8,000 welder, it wouldn't help because he would have to come over and set it up for me for every job and show me what I'm doing wrong. Likewise, if you came and built a network for me, you'd have to live here and show me how to set it up each and every time I wanted to do something with it." So, like I said, I know how to turn the computer on and use the caps lock.
You know more than that if you're running VMs and stuff. So
Yeah.
Relative to what I just saw, no.
well, Steve's at another level, but you know more than you think you know.
Most folks do. They're just terrified they're going to break something, which is why I run a lot of VMs. Because if I break it, I've got a script for rebuilding it.
Yeah.
And I run the script and I have that machine back again.
Yeah, and
but not broken this time.
Meanwhile, you got people like me that know better, should know better, and just do upgrades without thinking about it and break every damn thing in the world. So,
Like
I have a
Cloudflare.
backup script on my server. It's just a bash script that puts all of the machines into a halt state, backs all of them up, and restarts them all.
Yeah.
I mean, down to what's in the memory. I can go back to how the machine was running at 202. And another nice thing about Nextcloud, it's tied to my phone. I've got the Nextcloud client on my phone. Every time I take a picture, it copies it to the server. Ignore this one, that's a mistake. But the last picture I took, oh, there's a lot of stuff in there. 3 days ago, is this safe? Probably. Oh yeah, I took a picture of the bottom of a e-stop button
cool.
because I couldn't read those little tiny pins. Do we dare just play around? Ah, this is an MK Holy Llama key switch. It is a wonderful tactile key switch. I think I better stop. But
I
this
use I
ties a
use
lot of stuff together.
yeah, I use SyncThing for syncing my phone to my computer.
Nice. Can you get
Yeah,
SyncThing for iOS as well?
I don't know.
Because that's one of the things about the Nextcloud client. It's available for Android and iOS and Linux and Windows and Mac OS. It can run from a command line to make backups. Actually, that
Think SyncThing is a bit of a pain to set up, but once you get it working, it's fine.
yeah.
Um, can sync to Mac. I don't see an iOS though. So that leaves out half the world. Um, I've got a little Raspberry Pi 3 running with a 1 terabyte drive attached to it, and that becomes the sync hub. So
Mhm.
everything gets synced to it, and then the computers all connect to the Raspberry Pi. And the only problem with doing it like that is the client for the Raspberry Pi is ancient and doesn't support HTTPS.
Really?
So, yeah. So you have to tell all your clients to use the non-secure method of transport. But since I am only doing it inside the local network, I'm not that worried about it.
Well,
I,
if you've got it on your phone, that's outside of your network.
it doesn't sync unless I'm on my
Ah,
network. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I could take dozens of pictures, and as soon as I connect to the network, it'll sync them up. But that's the only drawback to doing it the way I'm doing it. So I can't sync from outside the network.
this is what you need to do to install Nextcloud Command, which is a command line Nextcloud client for Linux. Um, I was running this at LCS because I didn't want to install Nextcloud on the LCS machine, but I was pretty comfortable doing it on the WSL Ubuntu install, figuring, well, I can delete that file in an emergency if I need to. But that's it. And then you run sync whenever you want things to synchronize. And you can also run that on a cron job. But cron jobs are weird under WSL.
They are they're definitely trying to get away from cron, aren't they?
Who, Microsoft or Linux?
Linux.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I run a lot of stuff off of cron.
Really,
Yeah.
the last time I tried to run something from cron, it just it didn't want to work right.
Did you run it as root?
Uh,
Hopefully not.
no, I don't think I did. No, it was a local thing. I wanted it to run under my user, not. Speaking of this stupid machine here, the stupid upgrade. Oh my God.
That's
It
22 now.
Yeah, I upgraded from 20 whatever 21.3 to 22, and it changed a ton of the permissions inside of my home directory to root.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. And I was like, why are you that machine did it. I've had problems with every one of these machines upgrading to 22, except for the ones that are running the Cinnamon desktop. If they're running the Cinnamon desktop, they seem to upgrade just fine. No problems. But all of them that are running Mate have caused me some sort of problem.
Hmm.
And I'm about ready to just take a baseball bat and bash all of them.
That's weird to me. I had zero issues on 5 upgrades so far.
I have upgraded six machines. Uh, three of them had cinnamon, three of them had mate, and on mate, I've had problems on every one of them. Like this machine here that's right next to me, it decided that I didn't need any kind of media player, so it uninstalled Clementine and uh whatever that is, celluloid, and
Mhm.
it uninstalled all of it and didn't reinstall any of it from the back port or the forward port or wherever it's going to install it from. Um, the other machine, the machine that decided that everything was going to become root, it also refused to boot. It would boot into BIOS. That took me a while to get that back. And it's currently stuck in a boot loop that the desktop manager will come up. I type in my password. A couple seconds later, it goes back to the desktop manager. But uh-oh, Steve's got a phone call. But yeah, it one of the solutions to that was check the permissions, and of course I checked the permissions, and most of the files were owned by root, and I'm like, that ain't right. But
Hmm.
it's still stuck in the boot loop. I can still get to a desktop by going into the command line and typing start X, and then it'll start right up. But I hate this machine. I backed it up. I took everything that was on it and put it on an external drive, and now I'm getting ready to just wipe it out and start over again because I don't know what else to do with it. Steve didn't
Okay, I
hear.
missed most of that.
Yeah, you missed the boot loop. It was stuck in a boot loop. Yeah, I did that.
That'll fix your home directory,
I did
or
that.
should.
Um, I actually did it a little different, but I I I changed the permissions back. That did not fix the boot loop though. That
Well, you may
No,
recall a long, long time ago, I believe it was Windows 98 that would lock up, freeze up, and then you'd restart it. It says, to avoid seeing this message, always shut your machine down properly. It's like, I would if you didn't lock up.
well, this the machine I'm talking about that booted into BIOS, just straight into BIOS. That machine has always given me a problem if I boot into Windows. It will erase the UEFI and just install the Windows driver back into that partition, so I have to jump through hoops. So I don't boot into Windows. But whatever the upgrade did, it erased the UEFI and absolutely refused to let me install a new app UEFI. I had to boot into Windows to get UEFI to come back. I was like, this is a pain in the freaking. Now I did the boot repair tool and erased the grub and reinstall grub and all that. But now it says there's no Windows partition. And I'm like, I could live with that. I don't care. So done with this machine. But that machine, that this machine in particular has always given me a problem if I've needed to go into Windows for some reason. Windows has always overwritten the UEFI partition, and I don't know why. And of course, it started off saying that I was running Ubuntu, but I didn't care as long as it booted, as long as it didn't go into BIOS. I didn't care what it called my Linux partition. It could call it, I hate Linux partitions right now. I don't care. But the boot loop thing is an entirely different problem. And I have tried every solution I can find to do it. I've uninstalled the desktop manager. I've uninstalled half a dozen different things, reinstalled, deleted the X Authority file. I have done a half a dozen things and it is still stuck in that boot loop. But since I can get to a CLI and I can start X, I guess that's a workaround. Because I can get into it if I start X from the terminal.
okay. Then it's certainly fixable.
Yeah, I would think that it's fixable.
So the issue is with GDM. Something got borked
Well,
there.
okay, GDM is not installed. It's light DM or whatever.
Okay, yeah. Hmm. Do you use Etsy Keeper?
Etsy Keeper. I don't
Let me show you Etsy Keeper.
I don't think I since I am questioning what that is. Probably did not. Apparently, from what I've read in the forums, some people had this exact same problem from going from 20.3 to 21. So this is an old
The
issue.
21. Oh, okay. So this is an ancient issue then.
It's an old issue that I didn't have until now. And of course, I'm trying to go from 21.3 to 22. So now on the plus side, all the software that I had installed is still installed. Everything's still there. It didn't decide that I didn't need media files and all that. All that stuff is there. It's all there. It's just it decided that I don't really need to get into my system.
So, okay, I will give this machine, I haven't upgraded yet. It's still running 21.3.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm in the Etsy directory and I keep that under a Git repository.
Okay.
So I broke something and needed to fix it for Mint upgrade. These are the changes that happened
Okay.
to make that happen.
I need to do that.
It is sweet. I can say what has happened sorted by date to this file and see every time it was edited, the time and date it happened, what the command line was that caused that to happen. It's sweet. It really, really is. I am planning on updating this little nook at 7 tonight. I'll let you know how that goes. Um,
Well,
but
you're running Cinnamon though, right?
yes,
Yeah. See, the problems I have run into have not been with Cinnamon. It's all been with Mate. So and it's random different problems. Each machine, the three machines that I've done that are running Mate have all had different problems. All three of them.
hmm,
Yeah. Not having a media player is annoying, but an easy fix. You know, not not being able to get into the machine at all is totally unacceptable.
right.
So, I have gone from annoying things to, oh my God, I just want this to be done. But I got into the machine, by starting X, and I've backed everything up, all my files and stuff that were important to me, which honestly aren't all that important because I don't use this machine as much as I used to, but I backed all that up. So probably tonight I am going to just go for a clean install and see what happens.
The one that doesn't start up X properly, do you have it set to auto log you in?
Yes,
You may
but
want to
but
disable that.
well, I was going to say it disabled it itself during the upgrade.
Okay.
It disabled my auto login, and that's fine. I, like I said, there's a little annoyances, but it disabled the auto login, and it also changed. That's the same machine that changed most of the permissions in the home directory to root, and that
That's really weird.
that shouldn't have happened, right? I mean, so yeah, really, really bizarre what it did. Um, unexpected, but not uh you know, unexpected but not unheard of was that it when it first rebooted, it booted into BIOS. You know, it erased the UEFI petition, and that took a while to get back. But like I said, I've had problems with that that particular problem before. I've that was relatively easy, but took an hour or so to fix because I couldn't figure out why it installed the UEFI to a completely different partition. It should have installed it to the first partition, and it installed it to like the eighth partition, which was
Was
just
there a
bizarre.
UEFI partition there before? So you now have two UEFI partitions. Delete one.
I did. That's how I fixed it. I deleted the eighth one. I just I don't think the machine knew what to do. It saw two partitions and went, I don't know what I'm just supposed to do, and went into BIOS. What am I supposed to do here? But I need to what is that thing called?
Etsy Keeper.
Etsy Keeper. And that's in
Yep.
the
It's in
that's
the
in the
repos.
repositories.
Install TIG as well, TIG.
Okay.
Git backwards. It's the browser for Git. Unless you want to do everything with Git pulls and Git whatnots.
I'm I'm fairly comfortable using Git, but something that makes it easier, it would be easy or nice. Mark for installation and TIG.
Well, ideally, you do that when you first build the machine, and then you do your first update. And then
I
you have your second user, which is you. One of my, I have a list that I think everybody should follow when building a machine. And the first one is you build it with the user sysadmin. And then you never log in as sysadmin unless you absolutely have to. Use sysadmin to create your setup, to add you as a normal user, give yourself administrative rights.
right.
Um, and so one of the things I've seen that is an issue with not a boot loop, but a login loop is when you configure things like backgrounds and stuff, it takes it out of your home directory. And then if there's a change to that, the configuration which exists in Etsy is trying to call a subconfiguration that exists in /home/user, and it can't find it and it panics. And so it goes back to
Mm,
the screen. And if you're set for auto login, it tries again and tries again and tries again. And you will never outstubborn a computer.
so maybe I should change my background. You think maybe that's could be causing a problem?
No, that's not likely to be the issue. There's a lot of other things that go into that.
Okay.
Um, Again, that's why you load Etsy Keeper a long time ago, because at this point you can look through Etsy Keeper and see what files have changed.
Yes, well, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Ask me how I got to this point.
I I I imagine it had something to do with a very similar issue or something.
Over and over and over again.
Well, like I said before I started this whole tirade, I should know better. But I don't. I just do stuff.
One of my, I guess, selling points on a resume, and it's on my resume, is I have screwed up my allotment for life of machines. So it shouldn't happen anymore. I am
So,
very cautious about what I install, what I type on a command line. I, if I'm doing something as sudo, I read it twice. If I'm logged in as root, I read it 3 times. Um,
wow.
and I keep VMs around.
Yeah.
If I want to try something that I think is really sketchy, I do it on a VM. Oops, broke it. Delete it, start over.
I yes, I should know better. I mean, I just should.
Yeah, stuff
My
happens.
wife and I have had this discussion that if we were to live our life over again, we would not make the same mistakes. We would make another whole fresh batch of different mistakes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, I'm sure of that.
Yeah, wouldn't make the same mistakes. I'd make new ones.
Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Unfortunately, wisdom comes from making mistakes.
Well, if you don't do anything, you don't have to worry about making mistakes.
Joe, yes, you do.
Well, I wasn't referring to you, Steve. I was referring to people who don't do anything, don't have to worry about consequences of their mistakes. I would rather make mistakes in doing something than to not do anything at all.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about that is doing nothing can still be a mistake.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh,
A long,
but
long, long time ago, there was a novel came out called Looking for Mr. Goodbar.
Oh, yeah.
And in the very, very first paragraphs and chapters, you understand what is going to happen to the woman. She's going to be killed. And the remainder of the book, you just keep wanting to yell out to the character, "Don't do that! Yeah, don't do that!" It's like being in a theater with a large black audience who's yelling at the screen, "Girl, I told you don't do that!"
don't do it.
Uh,
A book that
Oh,
I recommend to everyone that reads Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance.
Mm,
It touches on so many parts, so many people's lives.
uh, oh, here comes Vicente.
okay.
Did did you see what I put in chat there, Mr. Steve?
I
That
scooted it off the side. Yeah. So those are not quite the same. If you do the dot, it misses the dot files and the dot
mm,
config and
no, if you do the dot, it it changes all the dots. Because yeah, it well it did.
okay. I'm surprised.
I read I read twice before I did it because I was like, "Are you sure that that's what that's going to do?"
That just means from here.
Well, I was in the home directory when I did it.
The one I showed does the same thing, though I got your login name wrong.
Yeah, it's all right. You don't know my login name.
Do now.
Do now.
So what's happening, Vicente?
And nothing, just doing stuff, working with strange things. I was designing a ding bell, the hotel bell you press when you ask for service.
Yeah.
I bought one in Amazon and I'm trying to use a solenoid to produce the sound, the bell sound. I have this is my experiment. You can see. I installed this wood base and I am using a solenoid to hit the bell.
Cool.
But I was determining the size of the pulse to produce the ding. If the pulse is more than 20 milliseconds, the sound is like attenuated. You need to do it very narrow pulse to produce the right ding, the right sound. So finally, I found that 10 milliseconds is the best time just to touch the metal and release to let it resonate. So I am using an Arduino to check different times. I have this is the power. My wife hates me because the sound. There's it. Okay, so I'm using an Arduino to produce the tiny pulse. See, it's really fast. The camera can capture you see?
Yeah, that is fast.
Yeah. Initially, I tried 50 milliseconds, but the solenoid keeps touching the bell, so it hit the bell and then attenuate the resonance, the resonance. So you need to touch and release fast to produce a nice sound. That was one of my dozens of things I am doing. I'm designing I'm designing with another solenoid a kit actuator to press keys in a old computer. It's like interface using the keyboard with a solenoid, but I don't want to hit the key hard, so I need to put a damper or a spring between the solenoid and the key. And I will use a felt cushion in the other side of the spring to try to protect the keyboard.
So what happens if you go faster than 20 milliseconds? In other words, 10 milliseconds.
No, I try 10 and it works with 10, but doesn't work with 5 because there is not enough energy or time to hit the bell. So it works with 10 and with 40 or 20, it sounds like lower. So I choose 15, that is a little bit above 10 to guarantee that the solenoid will hit the bell. But the idea is to keep out of the resonance time to hear the sound stay for a while resonating. Another experiment I am working on is the vintage computer I am trying to simulate is from 1971, and they, instead of using LEDs, they were using incandescent lamps. So the PWM modulation doesn't work with a incandescent lamp. You know, you have an average of the intensity. So I bought the lamp to experiment with a real incandescent lamp and try to figure out what's the faster frequency I can show in an incandescent lamp. So I found that 8 hertz will be enough to show. So instead of using PWM, I will use frequency, slightly difference in the frequency to control the motor. I have this I don't know if you can see the lamp here, incandescent lamp. You have it in focus. So I can change the intensity.
Oh,
Yeah, this is let me put this here. You see, you have different intensities.
you made like a dimmer for it.
Yeah. So I was using this sensor to check the analog value of the intensity. But I can use the analog intensity because depending on the distance and the environment lighting, it changed the level. So I need to use switching on-off frequency, you know. So I will try to use the 8 hertz frequency, but use the period of the signal, the change in the period to feed I don't know, a timer, 555 timer or something like that, to convert this change in frequency to voltage level and control a motor or something. But I don't like the problem is that I will use a analog amplifier to control the motor and maybe generates a lot of heat trying to use a linear amplifier to control a motor instead of chopping on off the signal. But anyway, it's a work in progress. That's what I was doing. Today I update my AutoCAD
You can try to
license.
use an LM723 or an LM713 amplifier. The 713 is just 3 pins and some other stuff. But the 723 is actually like I think it's a 14 pin IC chip.
Well,
It's a higher amplifier.
I'm struggling to solve the problem because I'm trying to use only the ICs that were available in 1971, you know, because I can use anything, modern technology to solve the problem, but I'm trying to use how you will solve the problem in 1971 with this old computer to produce the interface. That's my challenge, you know.
An LM713. They came out before that. I'm sure they did.
No,
So,
well, the timer 555 was released in 1972, a year later. So
wow. Okay.
I need to think in something else. Was Synetics that invented it and was available in the 1972. So
there's a transistor called a 2N222A, and you can configure that in. You can configure that into a monostable vibrator. That'll act very similar to a 555.
I thought about that, yes, to use transistors. But
okay.
I'm doing a lot of things simultaneously. I change from one project to another.
I just posted a link in the chat to one of the 6.3 volt midget flange based lamps. They used to call them annunciator lamps because they were designed to fit in push buttons. If you have an interest, I have about 1,000 of them.
Okay, maybe I have a couple the next week. Yes, but they used to work with 12 volts, you know.
Oh no, these are
usually 12 or 24
off of a filament transformer.
I don't like the high voltages in my desk because I'm crossing cables all around, but it's okay. This lamp was 2.5 volts from Amazon.
The ones I've got are designed for 6.3 volts off of a filament transformer, and they ran them off AC because then you could use a cheap SCR to control them.
Yeah, but I think that it depends on the lamp. Maybe they behave different. But I just want to make an approximation. I bought this lamp from Amazon. They are 2.5 volts. But I just want to deal with the inertia of the heating state of the lamp, you know. And well, I think I can use the frequency, the change in frequency to control something. But I just work for a while in this idea and jump in another stuff. I'm doing that all the time and working in different things. Let's see.
Is that called multitasking or is that scatterbrain?
No, this is I don't know, like jumping from one thing to another. For example, I am working different ideas, and each idea needs some stuff. So I put the order in AliExpress, eBay, Amazon, and then the stuff is coming. So I'm working now. I'm renew the AutoCAD 360 license to design how to connect the solenoid with the spring. Make like a small piece to connect the spring, and make another one for the point to put a felt pad to push the keys. So this afternoon I was working in the 3D design of the parts. And tomorrow I'll be trying to end my assembly of the 3D printer. I bought a 3D printer a year ago, and it's still in the making. It's a Prusa 3.3 B3. I don't remember. They now have the version 4 that is faster, but the kit to upgrade my 3D printer to the new one is more expensive than to buy a new one in Micro Center. You know, you need to spend like $300 to upgrade my printer, and for $300 you buy a new printer. So I don't know. In the meantime, I was working with a lot of MOSFET drivers. I bought like 4 different models. The best one is the one that uses an optocoupler that keeps the solenoid far from your logic. You use an optocoupler to control the solenoid. And the good thing is that you can change the polarity of your signal. Just, for example, this sensor, my idea is to use this sensor to drive the solenoid, right? And this sensor is active low. So the standard, well, the common drivers, the MOSFET drivers, use a TTL signal to control the MOSFET. But I was needing to invert the signal. So I was needing an additional transistor. But using optocouplers, you can always use any signal, changing the direction in the side of the control. You are driving an infrared LED inside the package of the optocoupler. So it doesn't matter what logic signal you have, you always can use the logic signal and ground or VCC to produce the control. You always can change the logic of the signal, just wiring differently. Okay, I am checking your link, Steve. So Ray, your metal laser is working, right?
All 3 of my metal cutting lasers are fully operational.
And you have the power supply for that. You solved the problem.
All of them are fully operational, 100%.
And how is the finish, the edge of the cut? For example,
It's
I don't
freaking
know,
beautiful.
Huh? It's clean.
It's freaking beautiful.
Oh my
It
God.
really is. So
I need to try something. Nice.
well, I would be happy to have a demonstration day or something like that.
Let's have
that or
a pizza party or something.
yeah, you want to come up on Saturday this weekend? I'll show everybody. I have a teaching day how to use the software.
Yes.
But
Yes.
actually, on Saturday morning, I'm going to a amateur radio convention down in Batavia.
Okay.
And so that's on the far east side of Cincinnati.
Mhm.
And I'll be driving by you guys. I know all you guys wanted to stay down in the Cincinnati area,
That's
but this would be a good ham
Hey.
convention for you guys to go to.
You're going to be
Where's
like
it
8
at?
miles away from me.
Yeah,
it's
Where at?
Cincinnati Ham Fest.
yeah,
That-
it's the near Batavia.
Yeah.
what's the best time to be there around Saturday in Batavia?
8 to 10:30 is probably the best time to be there.
Okay.
Al, where are you at?
This is in the east, Cincinnati East. Batavia.
Yes.
Is the East Gate close to the East Gate or?
No, it's a lot further than Eastgate.
I'll put
Not
a
a
link.
lot, but I mean,
I'll
it's.
put a link in the.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you. Hey,
nice.
Al, where you at?
What?
I was looking for. Normally, we got a guy that is in Florida or California.
Uh-huh.
But he travels back and forth.
ART,
Al.
art.
Art.
Art,
No,
yeah.
Al. Sorry. I got Alzheimer's. I think I'm crazy. Art. Where you at now?
Yes,
You
here
in
in
California?
Milford.
Oh, Milford. Okay. Well, I'm in California right now,
Okay.
so I'm on my way to the airport. So I'll be home probably tomorrow morning sometime. But I am planning on going to the radio convention this weekend, and I will be playing with metal cutting lasers all Friday, all Saturday, and maybe I'll kiss my wife on Sunday. But I got to go back to Florida, and then I'm coming back. I'll be home probably second half of next week. But
Well,
yeah,
we can do it next week because I will try to be in Batavia
I have
Saturday.
I have a little story about Ray, and this is a compliment.
oh
I was
no,
looking on Craigslist, and I saw a posting for free, a large metal frame, 88 inches by 188 inches.
yeah,
And I looked at it, and I knew that this posting was from Ray. So I sent him a note back through Craigslist saying, I'm kind of spatially impaired. Will this fit in a Ford
oh
Escort?
my
if I roll
gosh,
the windows down.
I remember responding to that.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
and that's the part when Ray responded, he didn't come back and say, you're a friggin' moron to think this huge frame would fit in an Escort, and how would it make any difference with the windows rolled down or up? But he didn't do that. He responded, no.
I was nice.
Ford Escort. You will have to bring a metal cutting tool in order to take
Oh Lord.
that. So I just
Oh,
thought it was very kind of him to not belittle this guy that had spatial orientation problems.
Oh Lord.
8 by 188 inch object inside a Ford Escort, and it would make some difference as to whether the windows were up or down.
I should have known that was somebody that knew me, just messing with me. My gosh, Lord.
But it
Well,
was, your response was very measured and kind.
I tried. Oh my Lord, that's funny. All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry that I don't get on here more often. I really tried last week. I set an alarm, and the alarm went off. It went off at 5:30. I thought I got 30 minutes really to get in here. I need to finish up with my customer. And so at 6 o'clock, I got on the phone and tried to connect, and I realized I'm in Oregon. 6 o'clock is about 2 or 3 hours too late to get into this. Man, I felt stupid at the moment, but so now I try to pay attention to that a little bit better.
So,
Lord,
Let,
Lord.
let me share something. The screen.
I was just gonna say the Hamfest thing looks like it's next weekend.
Yeah, it's the next weekend. I saw it. 8 days
It's next weekend?
eight
Yes.
days. 8
8
days.
days.
Oh man,
Yeah.
what's going on this weekend? I was planning to do that this weekend.
We're coming up to razors.
No,
Look at his
you're wrong.
razors.
What day do you want to try to get together to do look at lasers? I'll send
I
out
have
an
nothing
email.
to do this weekend. I guess I have nothing to do this weekend. So, otherwise, I was going to try to talk to Vicente about getting his metal bender.
Okay.
But aside from that, I would be happy to show you guys how the laser works and show you some samples of what's cut and just to do stuff.
What time? What day?
Saturday, probably anywhere from 10 to 4 o'clock.
This Saturday?
Yes, this week.
Okay.
Like the third.
Please confirm
That
by
Yeah.
that would be
con-
the third. Yes.
confirm by
Thank
by
you all.
mail when
Lord.
Very gracious of you to host us, and I would like to attend.
Me as well.
Yeah, it's not like I'm showing off a big robot company in Dayton. I wish they'd respond to me. But yeah. They
I'm knocking out an email right now just so everybody can remember.
please, yeah.
that sounds very thank you.
And
I want to share the screen to put in context what I was trying to do with the PWM sensor and the key actuator. I am doing this project. I will share this here. This is the Kimball one, the 1971 computer. My idea is to use this LED to produce the PWM that will change the speed of the train. And I wish one of the keys will be used to count the laps of the train. So you can program the speed and the number of laps and start your program. The idea is to use this old computer that has no I/O to control the train using the LED and a push button. So that's why I want to have an actuator to convert the train passing by a point and pushing the button to indicate that a lap was complete. This is my idea.
Now, are you controlling the speed with a stepper motor or a digital controller, or is that analog voltage?
Now the train is controlled by this original controller. It's a dial, but I am planning to use the PWM controller to change the speed of the train. You know.
Okay.
In the image, the train is using it's a kit that costs $99. It's a kit that comes complete with a controller. It has a dial with a speed control. But my idea is to use the LED PWM signal to switch on and off the voltage in the tracks and change the speed of the train. Maybe
Okay.
next week we can
You
see
control the voltage to the track as opposed to in the engine itself.
exactly. Well, the engine use use the wheels to transfer the voltage to the DC motor inside the engine, you know. So I will change the voltage of the tracks, switching on and off with the PWM signal.
Okay.
So it will change the speed of the train, supposedly. I
So
hope so.
you could not run two separate engines on that track at different speeds because the track itself is
No.
where the voltage is controlled.
Well, you can use AC in the tracks and use a dial in each engine, but
Oh,
this
that'd
is
be ugly.
to move them in different directions. I don't know. Now there are modern technologies that you can control. You can send data by the tracks and control the speed of the engines, but this is a more expensive train set, you know.
Now, it looks to me
you can turn on and off the lights inside the wagons of the train. You can produce smoke. You can control almost everything in the train using data transfer by the tracks. That is, for me, looks old technology because today you can use Bluetooth or whatever to do the same thing.
it looked to me that that was in gauge. Is that correct?
The what?
In gauge.
The gauge of your tracks looks like N gauge. I agree. It does.
And size.
Yes.
In width, yes.
Yes, and size.
My father-in-law has a lot of train tracks, and he has what he basically calls them digital controlled, and N gauge, O gauge, HO, and I think it really spans across a lot of different sizes.
The
Called
reason,
cab control.
does anybody here have an in gauge setup?
No,
Okay.
I made some experiments with the N gauge size. I don't know if anyone remembers the bridge. I designed a bridge with N size track. I was sensing the weight in both sides on both sides of the bridge to figure out where the engine was over the track. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
I have the setting is in a box in the basement. Maybe I can bring it again to the meeting next week. It used a couple of strain gauge cells to figure out where is the center of mass of the track and identify where the engine is located in the bridge.
Well, the reason I'm asking is I was driving to work a number of decades ago, and I looked over at the curb, and there was a board on it, and it had components, and I thought, I should know what that is. So I went around the block, parked, and walked up, and it was the manual or the little switches to control. They were the electronic switches to control the railroad switches in N-gauge. And they had about 50 left and right hand switches. And about at scale, they had about 50 miles of track. They had thrown it out into a 50 or to a 5-gallon bucket. And I went ahead and picked that up, but I don't have the room nor the inclination to do anything with it. So if anybody knows someone who is really, really enthused about putting together an N-gauge layout, I have stuff that's looking for a nice home.
Any cars with that?
Say again?
Any cars with that?
No, there was no rolling stock, only only track switches and the manual control switches for the.
I found a picture of the train. Where is the share screen? This is the bridge. It was the train was controlled by this driver, and I'm sensing this is a strange gate cell in one of the parts of the bridge. You see the shadow in the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sensing the weight on each side of the bridge, and identifying where is the engine all the time when it moves along the bridge. Just sensing the weight scale in each stream of this bar. This is a project I show in one meeting several years ago.
Neat picture.
I have a diagram of it. I made a draw. This is very illustrative of what I'm talking. Stop. Wait. This is not the. This is share. See? Using two load cells to estimate the train position. One load cell in each side of the beam. That is the bridge. This was the project. I remember let me show this. I remember when I designed the base of the project. I love the woodworking, as you may notice.
You have a planer?
Yeah. No planer.
Yeah.
No, I am using the makerspace planner. It's a really heavy one to my house, but I like it. I like it very much.
How wide is the
Huh?
how wide is the hives planer?
We have two of them in the makerspace. I think it's 36 inches. I don't remember, but
Ooh.
it's big enough for. You may make the half of the table, standard table, at a time. You cannot polish a big one, but
Yeah.
24, maybe 24 inches. Yeah, 24.
That's still substantial.
Yeah, it's big.
As I say, I got about, yeah, how wide they are, but I think they're like somewhere around 30-inch wide cherry wood boards. About 30 of them. But they're also about 15, 16 feet long too, which is.
I like the makerspace because they
Those are
keep
too big to fit into an escort.
they keep everything sharp. You know, all the tools are always perfect.
Escort can carry that no problem.
Yeah, just roll the
No,
windows down.
enough duct tape.
Would
You
it
know,
fit in a 3-person trunk?
well, no, you don't have to worry about that because you put the boards in the right-hand window and out the left-hand window. You don't drive with the boards parallel to the road. You drive with the boards perpendicular to the road.
There you go.
Yeah.
I saw a video the other day. The guy actually had the boards in there and he went through some kind of a gate and it was ugly. Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
I think I just fixed my login loop while I was sitting here.
Nice. What was the issue?
Well, I honestly don't know which file was causing the problem, but I deleted a bunch of the dot files from my home directory and it booted right into it. So one of them apparently, at least one of them was corrupt somehow. So let's see.
Config file.
Yeah, one of the config files. So it rewrote bash history, X authority, and X session errors. So one of those three apparently was causing the problem.
Probably X authority.
I think I'm looking at the problem.
Yeah, pretty much. I had deleted X authority a bunch of times though, so unless it gets wrote back or doesn't really delete itself,
Every
I don't
time
know.
you log in.
Yeah.
Last week we were only three in this session in the meeting. I
Yeah.
don't remember. Let
Three.
me show the PWM controller that is part of the context. This is what I showed last week. This is the PWM controller connected to a LED in the screen. You see? This is changing the speed.
Yeah. That's just
You see?
awesome.
Can you hear the music? The music? No?
No.
No, no music.
I don't know how to share the audio or the videos. Maybe there is no way, right? To share the audio.
Should be. I don't know how to do it.
Change, yeah. Video.
Let's say you'd have to add.
Wait, this is.
The audio channel.
Well, I tried to record YouTube audio with Audacity, the app, and I can. I used to do it with Windows 7, but now with Windows 11, they make it almost impossible to try to capture the audio from YouTube. Maybe it's some kind of copyright thing.
I say I know YouTube stores them separate in most cases.
I have another idea also about an elevator to make an elevator.
Hey, I just remembered there's something else going on Saturday.
Uh-oh. What's
It's
going
the
on?
part. It's the Parts Express sidewalk warehouse sale in Springboro.
What?
Parts Express.
Share the link.
It's what is it? It's Parts Express. It's Parts Express.
So what is Parts Express?
They are an audio they they sell a lot of audio equipment, but they general diodes, resistors,
Let me
They started
Amplifiers,
out on the first
speakers.
floor of Mendelssohn's.
they started
Yeah.
off at Mendelssohn's.
sharing again.
I'm sharing. Hang on.
Okay.
I
And it's
cannot.
they did not have it last year or the year before. So I'm thinking that this year is going to be a big event.
Share.
There's a link to Parts Express.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to be able to do anything Saturday. I gotta check with Patty. I think
Ask
we've got
permission.
no. I think
You will be running a marathon.
do what?
You will be running a marathon or half a marathon or something.
I think the grandkid. I think one of the grandkids is having a birthday party.
You need to bring 100 dragons.
Yeah, no. I think one of the grandkids is having a birthday party, and I think we are supposed to be going to either Kings Island or the zoo for it. So I gotta check with Patty. But I sent the email. Everybody else can go.
Okay.
I'm just not sure I can go.
Let me share this.
Going to be pretty warm Saturday.
Thanks a lot. You set me up to be busy all day Saturday, and then you're not even going to come. Okay.
Sorry. I'm not
Okay.
What's up?
well, you know, when I thought that it was the following Saturday, I was good, but then all of a sudden it dawned on me, wait a second, I think we're doing the grandkids' birthday party. So I gotta check with Patty. I might be able to do something. I might not. Who knows?
Well, now that I remember that the event is this weekend, I'm probably going to try to head over there early in the morning. What time is everybody wanting to come over to my warehouse Saturday?
This Saturday?
It would be you at your convenience.
Yeah.
So
Well, if I go to Spro like at 9 o'clock, I'll try to be back to my warehouse by noon, and that way I can. I'll be there long before noon, but I'll have everything cleaned and prepped so that I can do some demonstrations.
so uh, so we want to change it to noon.
Yeah, I would
Noon.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that I remember what event is on the weekend.
Now you know what's going on. See, you're like me, Ray.
Yeah.
I
I
can't
just
remember.
schedule, and it is. Oh,
Let's see if this works.
And just a commentary, everything I get from you, Leroy, ends up in spam. And I keep telling it it's not spam.
I have
But it is. Everything from him is spam.
Damn.
I have no idea, honestly. I don't know. Your spam filter doesn't like me, I guess.
And I don't know how to fix it.
That comes with in a
Telling
free
it
can,
not
right?
spam, not spam.
Yeah. We could sing it the Spam-A-Lot song. Spam,
Oh.
spam, spam, spam,
You can
spam,
change, you can
spam,
change
spam,
the name
spam.
of the folder, Spain, and put Leroy instead. Just change the name of the folder.
Well, if you put somebody's email in your address list, doesn't that automatically enable them so that they are not dropped in the spam folder?
Usually, but not always. That depends on the mail client and some options that you may or may not have enabled.
Okay.
You're all right. So hopefully everybody gets the updated email.
Yeah.
But you might have to check your spam folder.
Yeah. It could be that I'm using Yahoo Mail and it doesn't like the Google Groups .com.
See, Google Groups should be that should be a domain that it would like, though. That's
Yeah, but Yahoo's a search engine too, and they're just like, we're going to do what we can.
Yeah,
Do what we want.
do what we want.
Hey, Leroy, it's okay if you want to put my phone number in the email. That way, if somebody's lost or needs the address or whatever.
Well, I put the address in the first email.
Okay.
I didn't put your phone number. But I think everybody has your phone number at this point.
I don't know.
And I think most of us have been to Art may be the only one that hasn't been to the shop. But I think most of us have been to the shop at one point or the other. So
and Steve, I think you're correct because Automation Technology Club is in my list of addresses under my email, but it's still sending it to spam.
can you click on it and tell it that it's not spam?
Yeah, I do that in the spam folder.
Huh.
And when I do it in the spam folder and say this is not spam, it automatically throws it into the inbox, but only for that particular email. The future ones, they still end up being in the spam locker.
Maybe there's a filter you can add.
There's something you can say to trust this email.
Yeah, maybe there's a filter setting or something that you could say.
I'll look for it. Thank you very much. Well, I'm going to bow out. I will see you folks later.
Yeah, it's
Probably
getting to
Saturday.
It's getting to be on 7 o'clock. We are live and in person next week at the library, and it's gonna be a short one, so we will
So
probably
We can do something after.
yeah, we'll probably be
Continue.
able to get some dinner or whatever. So count on that. So
We ask for a big
Yay.
table in the restaurant,
yeah,
and we continue with the toys in the table of the restaurant.
there you go.
Like dinner, what's for dinner tonight?
All right. I will hopefully see everybody next week.
Bye bye.
take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.